Hello, I'm Chrisanthi Tsioumi, a law school undergraduate in Thessaloniki, and with Tsioumis we worked on Zambrano case and its importance to citizenship education for second generation citizens. Of course, the term second generation citizens will be explained during the presentation. First of all, I would like to explain the context of Zambrano case that Court of Justice of the European Union ruled. It was about Mr. Zambrano, a Colombian national, who applied for asylum in Belgium in 1999. His application for asylum was not approved, and during his stay in Belgium, he had two children, who, of course, became EU citizens, Belgian citizens specifically, because they were born in this country. After the birth of his children, Mr. Zambrano asked for residence and work permit, but these rights were not given to him. So the important part of this case was that Mr. Zambrano would be forced to leave the country because he didn't have the right to stay and work in Belgium. But one case would be that he would live alone, and the other that was the possible solution was that the family would not be separated and Zambrano would take his children with him. But the problem was that his children, as we mentioned before, were Belgians and therefore EU citizens. So removing a citizen from a second generation citizen, more specifically from their host country, is a problematic solution, a problematic situation that is not connected with the aim of the European Union. Of course, the court ruled that a member state should not deny the application of an immigrant who has given birth to children and therefore is a parent of a second generation citizen, because not allowing the parent to stay in the country that their children are born is really crucial for the children who will not be able to enjoy the rights that they have as union citizens. Apart from that, this case points out how important is to pay attention to immigrant rights equally as children of immigrant rights who are citizens of European Union. To be more specific, I mean that immigrants may not be citizens because, as we mentioned, Mr. Zambrano's applications were not approved, but member states should allow parents to enjoy some rights in member states so that the second generation citizens will enjoy also the rights that they have as EU citizens. The term second generation citizen is very important and is about a person who was born and raised in a country, but this country is not their country of origin, but by being born in this country, uh, they gained this specific citizenship. Of course, second generation citizen is not the only way to describe this situation, and children of immigrants is also a preferred term to talk about these situations when um, a child is born in a different country from immigrants. Of course, children of immigrants should be integrated in the educational system uh, of each host country, but this is not an easy task for every member state. Um, there are many difficulties in absorbing this group of people, and the most usual obstacles are, first of all, the different educational systems that each member state has, and it is really crucial the fact that uh, the language of each host country is not the mother tongue of second generation citizens, and we should not neglect the fact that children of immigrants face racism, face discrimination, and this makes the situation worse. We have seen in a research conducted by PISA that second generation citizens don't show exceptional school performance. But that may occur because they don't have a host country's language as their mother tongue. So the problem is that when it comes to countries with tracking, as Germany, who separates students from a really young age, at the age of 12 specifically, um, second generation citizens are not allowed to show their academic abilities because they have the disadvantage that they have not learned the language properly yet. Um, so that results in reduced access in higher education and lower professional perspective. And for sure, most countries' education system don't take in consideration that immigrants usually live in downgraded regions, so the schools there will offer lower quality as far as the education is concerned. Furthermore, children of immigrants who don't have host country's language as mother tongue, as we said before, are likely to comprehend a worse course's context than the native speaker. This is not because they don't have the intellectual ability, but because they don't have such an enriched vocabulary. So, not understanding the full context of a course and not being able to express yourself fully results in being more hesitant to ask questions, participate during class, and this is not what we want for our future um, citizens who should be able to express themselves freely and criticize a social situation or political problems, and generally citizens, ideal citizens who participate in political dialogue. Of course, immigrants and especially their children schools face racism in a raw way from classmates, from teachers, and as we mentioned before, if children have low self-esteem and don't believe in themselves when they're talking, and if they have and if they also have this negative environment, they lead themselves in self-fulfilling prophecy, a psychological term introduced by Merton in 1948, which is the concept that if I believe something negative, this negative situation will indeed happen. And of course, uh, this is not the substance of citizenship that was given to second generation citizens when they were born in the member state. In any case, EU can promote immigrants and should promote immigrants and their children integration by creating and funding more programs um, relevant to the enhancement of citizenship, such as Erasmus programs in which activities and dialogue about multicultural societies are organized, and specifically in EU in Erasmus Plus programs. Um, Young people from different countries are encouraged to participate in activities and create a fruitful debate about different cultures of the European Union. Apart from that, we should emphasize on how serious measures European Union has taken as the European education area, which aims to uh, offer equal access to high quality education for every child regardless of their origins. And EU has also established a fund which is called Asylum Migration and Integration Fund and supports financially local and national programs for the education, language support, and participation of children of immigrants. Some member states have also shown progress in integrating immigrants and their children, and of course, they are guided by European Union, but every member state should adopt the policy that suits her better. For example, Germany has established Integration Course, which is a course in which immigrants learn German better and are getting familiar with the form of government, values, and culture. On the other hand, Netherlands have imposed an integrational law which aims to integrate immigrants and their children more in the society of Netherlands, and the law enhances dialogue between a school and family. Of course, Sweden, which has an exceptional educational system, has also introduced intro classes for children and has introduced also the idea of intercultural communication specialists and interpreters in schools. And Poland has also established centers for immigrants integration, providing what is necessary. You can see every country's measures in the links below. They're really interesting. We should not forget teachers, uh, which are crucial in creating second generation citizens which will be fully included in every member state's society. And it's a fact that the teachers are not well trained in dealing with multicultural classes. And of course, there are some courses about multicultural education in schools of education in European countries, but seminars are also popular and workshops are also popular because it's important to have education to become prepared teacher, but as a teacher you should also teach yourself in some fields when it's necessary. For example, when you have a multicultural class. For sure, Zambrano case influenced CiCea case law. So it is a really important chance to create and fund more programs which are relevant to include immigrants so that their children will also be integrated in a natural way. And of course, Zambrano case should be studied in workshops because it really emphasizes on the importance of connecting, of discussing with um, parents who are immigrants in order to comprehend profoundly the needs that each children has and to deal with um, racism because for example young people tend to criticize more without knowing uh, the importance, without acknowledging the importance of their behavior. And when a teacher is trained in anti-racism and in multiculturalism, it teaches to children of immigrants or not the importance of accepting the other person regardless of their origin. And this is what citizenship is about. It's not about being from having a specific origin. It's about seeing the other person equally and create fruitful dialogue with them in order to develop the society that you live in order to offer solutions to any social problem or political one, and is about reinforcing the dialogue